Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to continue working on our web page here. So basically we've got pretty much everything done. The only thing left that I really want to tackle is getting this horizontal navigation menu and getting the text to wrap around my little video, and that will conclude this particular project. So let's go ahead and just as a quick reminder, here's my I just want to show you this top part because I've got some copyrighted image down below. But basically I just want to focus on this horizontal navigation menu. I've actually got the unordered list created. We just have to do the styles. Horizontal menu, and you can't tell from this screen capture obviously, but blue items here, and when you hover over these they will switch over to orange, and we'll be using a particular image to create that effect. And that'll finish us off. Alright, so there's our web page as it stands right now. Not looking too bad. Let's jump over to our editor. There we go. So HTML is pretty much already established for our nav menu under ID nav menu. So just need to work on the style sheets for it. And keep in mind, for this little nav menu, I've got an image that I'm going to be using, and here's the image right here. So in this one, I'm going to show the bottom portion, which is blue, and then on hover will be the top portion, which is orange. And this is kind of good to bring up here just so we can see this image is 200 wide by 64 tall. The width isn't too critical. You could use it for anything smaller than 200, but it's nice to know that the height is 64. That means that each color, the blue and the orange here, is blue and the orange is 32 pixels each. So it's good to make a note of that. And we'll make our anchor tags that particular height. So I'll move that off to the side, and let's see, I'll just go ahead and create another rule down here, and let's not forget my unordered list is inside of a div with ID nav menu. Could do ID nav menu on the unordered list, but let's just go down here to a spot on the bottom. A lot of stuff going on in here. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you. Oops. Nav menu, unordered list. There we go. So the unordered list that is within my nav menu, and I have to do it that way because my unordered list is a descendant of the element with ID nav menu. I'll go ahead and do list style type none. Now I'm going to do nav menu list items. So list style type none gets rid of my bullets. Take my list items, and I'm going to set their widths to let's start off with 120 pixels. It's probably a little bit more. Let's do a nice 100 pixels. Height 32 pixels. Remember, that's the height of 1/2 of the height of my little background image. Of course, background colors would be nice too, but we'll use that background image. Height 32, and just so we can see things temporarily, I'm going to put a little border on there. 1 pix solid red. I'm going to float all these list items to the left to get them side by side. Oh, also so we can visualize, I'll take my unordered list, do a background color of black, and yeah, let's do that for now. Let's see how things are looking. Ooh, one more trick. Overflow hidden. Go ahead and do this now. Whenever an element contains nothing but or mostly floating elements, overflow hidden is a pretty nice little way to make sure that its height automatically expands. Let's see how things are looking. And there we go. So now we can start to see those list items side by side. And that's the start of our nav menu. I know it doesn't seem like much right now, but we can certainly enhance this a little bit. Let me jump back over to my styles. And let's see, let's go ahead and for this unordered list, I'm going to put a little bit of margin on it. 15 pixels, if I can spell pixels, and a little bit of border radius. Just so it stands out. Just that little change right there is going to make it a little bit more noticeable, almost like a little pillbox there. And how about if we did a little padding top of 10 pix. Padding bottom of 10 pixels. Alright, let's work on these list items for a moment. So with my list items, I want them, actually, they're in pretty good shape. I'm going to put a little bit of margin on these also. But then let's run right down to the anchor tags. So in my nav menu, I of course have anchor tags. And these are going to be, let me scroll up so you can see all this. It's going to be display block. Okay. I'm going to set the width to 100 pixels, the height to 32 pixels, and the background image is going to be menu5.gif. Okay. So this will put that particular image in there that we want for each of those anchor tags. And if I go to my browser and refresh, there you can see it's at orange. But I want them to start off as blue first, not orange. So I'm going to do a little background position. 0 pixels left and right, negative 32 pixels up and down. Okay, so negative 32 is going to take me up 32 pixels. So if I save this, head to my browser and refresh, we now have the blue backgrounds. While I'm here in these anchors, I'll go ahead and do text decoration none, text align center, and I'm also going to do a little line height, 32 pixels. If you do a line height that's equivalent to the height of the box, you get that vertical centering. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to make these all a little bit wider. I'm going to go about 120 and 120. A little bit too much. 110, 110. There we go. That looks a little bit nicer. And now let's get the hover effect going on. Oh, by the way, we can also do black text, smaller font size. Now let's take care of those hovers. Nav menu A:hover. Now we've already got the background image set on the anchors, but what I do need is to reposition that background image. So I'm just going to take that background position and I'm going to knock it down to 0px, which is basically the default. So now when I hover over these background images, they switch over to orange, and that's the basics right there. Now that I've got pretty much the effect done, I can get rid of those temporary red borders. Those were just kind of there as filler. Okay, looking a little bit better. And then it's simply a matter, well, what's the best way to kind of get these centered? There's a couple of ways we could do this. We could put a little bit of extra margin on our very first list item, you know, maybe list item first child, just the first one. Or we could put a little bit more padding left on the unordered list. Either way would work pretty well. I need to get a little bit more margin on my unordered list to see how it's kind of pushing up against there. I don't really care for that, but we could also center it. So I could do margin top and bottom, and then auto left and right. Ooh, that didn't quite give me the centering that I want, but it did kind of push them. It pushed it all the way out to the very edges there. Don't need those two. Let's make sure I didn't have a little typo affecting that. No, it's not too bad. But I'm going to go back to 15 pixels on all four sides. And if you need to push a little bit extra, you can. Margin left. So the second is going to override the first. And I'm still, let's just do something dramatic just so we can see that effect. And I think it's still trying to clear. It's trying to clear underneath this box. So here's the one quick test. There we go. So now we can see it. So the width of our red column. So, and it's kind of the same thing when you do that big margin left on a main column. So I could head back over. Let's see. There's my, and let's just verify here. My left column is 240 pixels wide. So my main call, and in fact I may not even have a rule for it yet here. So if I do a quick find. Main call. Nope, can't find it. So easy enough to take care of, and I can put that right up here. I'll do a main call, margin left 240 pixels. Okay, that'll do a margin left equivalent to the width of my left column. And now that I've done that, I should be able to take this back here and get rid of that margin left. Let's see how things are looking. There we go. So yeah, so just a little bit of margin left. In fact, while I'm here, should I put a little padding on there also? Might look kind of nice. Main call, padding, 10 pixels. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, but anyway, back to this little menu. In fact, things are looking pretty good now. We could just adjust it a little bit more to the left, and it could be the very first list item. Let's try that and see how that would work. Nav menu LI, first child. Let's start off with just 5 pixels. See how that looks. No real impact. Ten pixels seems to do it though. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Not too shabby. And what the hell, let's go ahead and do this. Let's put a little border radius on these also, on my anchors. Just 5 pixels there, I think will do it. There we go, little kind of little pillbox shaped. And that is the basics. And one more thing, and then we will call this finished. I want to get this text to wrap around my embedded video here, and that's easy enough to do with our normal float technique. If I go back to the code, we can see that our video has this ID trailer. Okay, ID trailer. So I just need to make sure I float that to the left. So in my CSS, oops, little right click action there, trailer, and just by doing float left, there we go. Text wraps around it. If you don't like how close that text is, though, to the edge, then we can simply also put a little bit of margin right. 10 pixels, get a little bit more of a cushion of space there. Not too bad. And if you wanted to see how this column would look if it was a little bit longer, well, we could just add some more text in here. So I'll just go ahead and take this entire paragraph, copy and paste it, so now we've got 2 of them, and there we go. So that is our 2-column layout. Nice big search box up at the top, logo, table, small form over here, and little centered advertisement, video, text wrapping around, horizontal navigation menu with a background image. Have fun.